On this week's episode of Devil's Trap Podcast, would Rue believe it?
Unidentified hopping objects. Let's do this. Welcome to this week's episode of Devil's Trap Podcast. I'm Diana.
And I'm Liz.
And this week we're going to talk about Season 11, Episode 7, Plush.
Plush. Like a
Before
furry.
that, yeah, we'll talk what we've been up to. Babe and I decided that we want to make an effort to be a tourist in our own town sometimes, because sometimes we take for granted places that are convenient to us that other people would go visit. So we went and visited the farmer's market this weekend, and then we went and saw our friend's soft opening of her rum distillery, which has relocated to Dallas. That's Island Getaway Rum. And then we also went to we went and saw the Love Pit, which is a bully breed rescue, had a pop-up at a brewery in town. So yeah, that was my exciting.
You did not bring a friend home, which I was very disappointed.
Well, we did not bring a friend home because Albus, one of our doggos, started going to school this week again. It's doggy daycare, but he had a really good day at doggy daycare because we're working on our socialization so that eventually we can bring another friend home. But I did send you pictures of one of them because she was really cute.
She was really cute, and I think she should be your friend.
But yeah, so Liz, you've been on an adventure.
Well, when you say my name like that, how did you get two syllables into the word Liz? It's so Dallas.
Yeah, it is. Liz.
Yeah, I guess it's still better than Lizzie.
No.
Yeah.
I
just got back from the ever exciting Lilydale, the home of the spiritualists, or one of the homes of the spiritualists in the U.S. And I went up there for Shannon Taggart Symposium of High Strange. And it was everything you would expect Lilydale to be, full of mediums and bugs. And so I learned what it was like to live in a convent, because the hotel that I stayed at the first of it was the Maplewood, which is, it has Mae West stayed there. Is also, it used to be the stables. And so when they turned it into a hotel, they did that thing where they raised it up and put the building underneath it. So what is now the third floor used to be the first floor, the ground floor. Yeah. Uh-huh. And so when you're on the third floor, they say you can hear the haunting hoof steps of horses going through so that's a good way to sleep at night. Yeah. So on my level, which was the second level, I forget what's supposed to haunt that, but what did not haunt it was air conditioning, a private bathroom, a lamp that could reach the electrical outlet. So by the last night, I split my time between that hotel and an Airbnb, which was outside the gates of Lilydale. You have to understand, this town is a village where you drive through gates to get into it, and most days you have to pay a fee during the summer. And if you're not allowed there most of the time. So, but they open their gates during the summer, and you can go hang out and see all the cool stuff, all the history and things. And so some fun things that happened while I was there. So I went and they have this inspiration stump, or all a gaggle of mediums, which we determined was called a seance, give messages from spirit, so you can talk to your loved ones or other people who are on the other side. And I may or may not, I got a message, and so I may have gotten the message from the other side. And Yeah, and I saw lots of people get messages from the other side. I probably saw like over like 500 messages by the time
That's wild.
I saw dozens of mediums. Like it's pretty crazy, pretty crazy there. It's wild stuff. No, it's really interesting. I recommend it. If you're anywhere near New York, you should go there for a day. So at the symposium we did also, before I forget, during the stump there was a sighting of Elvis. And then also outside of the stump, while I was on a walking tour, I'm pretty sure I may have seen a UFO. So I was standing outside the ferry, like there's a ferry trail through the forest where they have put like all of these ferry houses and stuff. It's really cool. It's a very long ferry. It's the biggest ferry trail you've ever seen. And we were standing outside on the street, and I'm looking up, and I saw this weird ass light that looked like basically like a weird orb in the sky that was far away, and it looked like should be a plane that was landing, but it wasn't landing, and it was just kind of going at a weird speed. And then all of a sudden I hear someone's like, oh my God, she sees it too. And then there's a couple next to me, and they were filming it. So they have it on video. And when you looked at the video, there was 2 orbs, not just one. But so somebody got that on video. So that was really cool. Also in the stump on the way to the stump, it's in the woods, and there is the largest pet cemetery in America is in there. And they eventually had to tell people to stop burying their pets in there. But in there were horses. So there were horses in the pet cemetery, including Topsy, who was a horse who used to be used to get ice off the lake to put into the icebox for summer, and it drowned in the lake, and it was very sad. Okay. So Topsy is there, and they have a memorial. So hi, Topsy. So that Lily Dale itself, like I said, it's just like lots of messages, lots of church services with the dead. And I was at a symposium, so there with lots of academic nerds talking about dead people and other things. And we started off with a spoon bending party a la Uri Geller, which we have talked about on this podcast, and had a group of people get together and bend spoons. And showing Diana my bent spoon. It took me until the last time to get it. And I think because like one of the methods I try is, you're supposed to, first off, we tried meditating, where you just became in love with your spoon. And then like once you became like in love with it, then you would tell it to bend, and it would, because it loved you too. And I did not have
emotionally manipulate the spoon.
You're emotionally manipulating the spoon. And I just am not a fake person. I couldn't, and I just can't make people, I can't tell something else what to do. That seems wrong. And so, or maybe I just had a fleeting love with the spoon. I'm not sure. Then we're trying the method where everybody in the room jumped up and down a couple of times, and then we spun around in a circle, and then we bent the spoon. So the second time we did that worked for me. Okay. And so, but you're also supposed to be like filling yourself with like joy and light. And I kind of think that may be why I had a problem with this.
I was going to say, I'm like, who are you?
And yeah, I was like, oh, can I throw some existential dread in it? Like that I'm really good at, so that was really great. What else? So at the symposium, there was a live taping of the podcast Weird Studies, and he talks about the paranormal journalist John Keel. There was 2 talks by Christopher Josephi, I'm probably saying his name wrong, but he is the author of Jeff, the Strange Tale of an Extra Special Mongoose. Yeah. And so he did 2 talks. That was really cool. There was one talk about how to build a haunted house, which was really great, like taking all of the things, like looking at the data from haunted houses and calling out like, okay, they're on a crossroads. Oh, they have windows this way. So just this like basically coming up with like what would the world's most haunted house be? It was really good and really ugly. It would be on world's most ugliest houses. So there was another one where the woman talked about how to do liminal dreaming, which is something that Einstein used to do, Edison used to do. I don't know, like smart people did it. But it's basically where you're, instead of, the dreaming, like you're instead of lucid dreaming, which is when you're all the way unconscious.
Yeah.
Liminal dreaming is that moment when you're like half asleep, like when you're falling asleep, or right when you're waking up. And so apparently you can work in that space, and it's really good for creativity. And so like I think it was Edison or one of them would put heavy things in their hands, and then like basically sit down to go take a nap, and just trying to like hang out in that half asleep space to get like ideas and get juices going. So that was a really cool, interesting lecture to hear about. I don't know. I'm going to try it. And lots of stuff about enchanted rocks. And we brought up the idea of if things are being possessed by humans, cursed objects or whatnot, then do we have some sort of ethical responsibility to them as human beings?
So crazy. Because if there's spirits in it, that's interesting.
So we can talk about that with this episode. I think that's a really good transition to this episode. Yeah. Okay. So this episode is talking about ghosts. Oh, there's one more thing. So when I was on the tour where I saw the UFO, we were standing outside of this really cool tree, and this couple walked past us. It's about 10:30 at night, and this elderly woman who is probably in her 70s, walked up to me and goes, "The ghosts are all in bed." And then she just kind of laughed and walked off. And I just met my future self. It was amazing.
That's hilarious.
Okay. I know. I was like, whoever you are, lady. I never met her again. Like she passed me once in the night in the Lily Dale.
What if she was a ghost?
What if she was a ghost? That is quite possible. Or future me is also quite possible, because there's vortexes. I learned about 4 vortexes that exist in Lilydale.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
That's a lot of vortexes.
A lot of vortexes.
One small town.
I don't know what comes in and out of that. So anyhow, so we're going to talk about Plush. And so this is season 11, episode 7, and it first aired November 18th, 2015. And it was directed by Tim Andrew, and we last saw him in season 10 with Hibbing 911. So he did Donna's episode in season 10. Yeah. And it was written by Eric Carmelo and Nicole Snyder. And last season we saw them do Ask Jeeves and Halt and Catch Fire. And then they also did Dog Dean Afternoon in season 9, which Tim Andrew directed. So they've worked together.
Yeah, so this dude's watching TV while his wife's doing dishes and asks him to take out the trash. And he's a fucking dick about it.
Yeah, he's like, it's your cooking that stinks. So rude. And he wants to watch the game. And so she, of course, does, but a lot of us would do, and just says, fuck it, I'm just going to do this myself.
Yeah, so while she's getting ready to go outside... We see a dude in a creepy ass bunny mask, like a mascot mask, standing in the yard watching. Or
I think more accurately, it's like the meme bunny that every Easter like is used as a way to talk about like how the Easter bunny scares kids. That's what this mask looks like.
Well, either way, she's like, fuck this. She's like, I'm going to go outside. And we're like, as a viewer, you're like, oh no, the bunny is going to get her. But the bunny doesn't get her.
Well, because there's creepy music playing too.
Yeah. And we get the view of like from the bunny. But no, she puts the trash. Well, she has to fight with 2 trash cans because one's full. Da, 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 da. Of course, it's an ordeal because the asshole wouldn't just take the fucking trash out. But she goes back inside. And as she goes back in, we realize that the bunny is inside. He brought the man a beer, but then proceeded to bust it on his head and start stabbing him with the beer bottle.
Yep. And while this is happening, this poor I'm just calling her Mrs. Stan, even though we learn her name later. Mrs. Stan is outside muttering about needing possum traps.
Yes. And she comes inside and sees her husband getting stabbed with a broken glass bottle by a guy in a bunny mask and screams. Like you would.
Like you would. And then we cut to the title card.
Mm-hmm. So we have Sam praying at his bed in the bunker.
Like full on kneeling praying.
Yes. And he is saying that, praying that, his conversation with God is that the visions are not making sense and he's asking for clarity. And at this point, Dean enters and is wildly unimpressed and quite judgy about Sam's decision to pray.
Yeah.
Because he's like, God didn't show up for the apocalypse. You think he's going to show up for this?
Which is also a fair point, right? I'm like, yeah, you know, like I wouldn't be, at least like, I can see what Dean's saying, like I wouldn't be putting all my money on the table on that one. But he's still also ignoring the fact that Sam is seeing things in his head. Yeah, which I would probably be like, given Sam's history,
not ideal.
What's going on here? Mm-hmm. So anyways,
and Sam does make the point though, this is God's sister, so maybe he might show up for this even though he didn't for the apocalypse. And also like it can't hurt. It's kind of his take. I feel like he's kind of like, well, it's doing something,
right? And then Dean though has this very good line where he says, "Don't count on God, count on us."
Yeah, that's
pretty good.
That's what he says.
Yep.
So we go to the bunker map table that we're both so jealous of because it is stunning. And it is covered in old books and scrolls because...
Also jealous.
Yeah, I figured you'd be stoked on that too. Because Castiel has dug up as much pre-biblical lore that he could get his hands on.
And Sam couldn't read it because half of it was in Aramaic. And then the other half, which he could read... You could read, like, I'm assuming, what is it, ancient Hebrew?
Right.
Like, you could, that one Google Translate had.
Casual. Super casual.
Yeah, you know. But that one didn't have anything about the darkness.
Does Google Translate work? That's the question.
I think Google Translate does have Aramaic, and it actually does.
Okay.
It has some fun languages in there, but it doesn't have Latin. So, anyhow, Dean.
Weird. Well,
Dean's phone rings.
And it's Donna.
Who Sam references as Fat Sucker Donna.
Yeah, annoying. But apparently she is calling about a killer bunny. So they are going to go check this out in Cottage Grove, Minnesota, where she is now the Luton County Sheriff. So she's, then we get a group hug when they arrive and discuss that there is a killer Easter bunny that took the entire team to get into custody. But the weirdest part of all of this is the fact the fucking bunny head will not come off of this person.
Yep, so that is there. And Dean is like, well, I'm not sure if this is our kind of case, but if you've got a wild hair...
I loved that line. I was so happy I wrote that down too.
Yeah, and Donna loves that as well. And then we get to meet Officer Stover.
Yes, because... well, we've got agents Elliot and Savage, which is a Def Leppard reference. Meet Detective Doug Stover. And it is clear that Detective Doug Stover has the hots for Donna.
Yeah, and he's really into her, and it's just getting awkward. Because Donna doesn't want to be once bitten, twice dugged.
Yeah, which is a great white reference. Anyways, so we got this couple. All right. So they all go to visit Bunny Dude in the cell because that's what I'm calling him at this point because I don't know what else. So we got Bunny Dude. And by the way, this mask is extra fucking creepy because it also has, it's really dirty and it also now has blood splatter on it. So apparently this guy has no fucking ID. All they know is that he's a white guy that's 18 to 25 years old. And that's about all they got. But Detective Doug is like, oh, I've got an emergency. And so Donna leaves Sam and Dean with Bunny Dude to figure it out. And of course, Dean has jokes right out the gate of "What's up, Doc?" is his line. And then Sam is unimpressed with Dean's attempt to get him to talk. So Sam leans in with, "Let me guess, Raj, you were framed," which is another great rabbit reference.
No, that one was bad. That one was bad. I didn't like that one. No. I like that. So Dean doesn't like it either, and then Dean gets grabbed, and holy water doesn't work. So they determine it's not a demon, and they stop with all of their other tests.
Yeah, which is a really weird choice. They don't do any other tests, but also Dean is getting choked out. The good thing is they notice that this dude has a tattoo that says Kylie Forever on his wrist in bad font and terrible placement. No judgment on getting your...
What if he just really liked Kylie Minogue?
I mean, there's other Kylies out there too, but yes.
Yeah, why would Kylie live in this town?
I don't know. Either way. And underneath his flannel is a Minnesota Tech t-shirt. So now we have two clues, college and a chick's name. So... we've got Sam and Dean are going to go stake out every Kylie in town's house. I don't know. I guess it's a small town, but I guess they also had a cross-reference of Minnesota Tech. But they find the last one, and I'm just going to give a little love to her car, because parked in front of her house is a Buick Riata. It was a two-door Buick that was made from 88 to 91, and I actually just really love these cars. I don't know why. That's my comment for the day. You're welcome. Okay. So Kylie comes out. They show her this picture of dude, and it's a bunny mask. They're like, "Hey, do you know this guy?" And she's like, "Oh my god,
of course, that's my boyfriend."
Yeah, of course. And they're like, "Why would he stab somebody that he doesn't know? That's weird." And why, or how does he know him? She's like, "What the fuck are you talking about? He was acting weird because we went to the thrift store to shop for costumes for this party, and he put the bunny mask on, and that was really gross." I'm glad she also acknowledged it was gross. And as soon as he put it on, he started acting weird, and he just like stood up and left.
Yeah, but also he like at first he creeped her out, and he thought that was really funny. That's why he was going into it. So what a good boyfriend.
So weird. Anyways, but she's like, "But no, he's the sweetest. The mask is what's made him different." Boom, boom, boom.
So we go from there to outside the sheriff's office, where Donna and Doug are wheeling out Bunny Mike. And then she gets offended when Doug wants to help her lift the bunny out of the chair. But she does CrossFit, and it's all about the core.
Woman, just let him do it. Anyways, but yeah, she's working real hard to try to represent. But either way, he's apparently on a fuck ton of tranquilizers because they're trying to take him to the hospital to surgically remove the mask at this point. And she is unable to move this body. They even try together. She does let him help. Still unsuccessful. And Dean calls, and of course they turn their back, and motherfucker, of course, he is not as impacted by the tranquilizers as he should be. And so he attacks them, and Doug has to shoot Bunny Dude a whole bunch.
Does he, though?
Oh, I mean, he was attacking, and it took a whole team.
Yeah, I don't know.
He's on a fuck ton of tranquilizers, and they said they had to take a whole team to even take him into the cell before.
I know. But it's still, so he's down. Bunny is down.
The
bunny is down.
Yes. And what they see is now a young man. A hat is next to him, the mask is next to him, and he's dead. So Sam and Dean go meet Donna in the woods with the mask, where they are going to burn it. And she is very upset because she feels terrible. This 19-year-old kid is dead. It was the mask's fault, and he was just a puppet. So they're going to burn it.
Yep. And I don't know how they can have a serious conversation with that bunny mask just staring at them.
Ridiculous.
Yep. And Sam has taken a stand, though, and nobody else dies. Not like this. And he hands Donna the matches, and they solemnly watch the bunny burn. Mm-hmm. And this was not the first time a bunny terrorized Minnesota. We're going to talk about some lore. Hopping good lore. So in the 1950s, dozens of residents of Ancora, Minnesota, the town Garrison Keillor based Lake Wobegon on, and Coon Rapids, Minnesota, a town who actually changed their name to be Coon Rapids, Minnesota, reported seeing large hopping beasts with glowing eyes that devoured garbage and killed pets and other small animals. Eventually, the beast would be dubbed Big Bunny. The stories were primarily collected by Lauren Coleman, the cryptozoologist and founder of the International Cryptozoology Museum, who also conducted the interviews with the witnesses. And I couldn't verify any of these reports by newspaper, but also I had shorter research time this week, so I couldn't dig, but nothing came up at first. So anyways, these are the ones that were in Minnesota. Two boys, age 7 and 9, saw two 5-foot-tall, light tan, medium brown kangaroos hopping across a clearing off Highway 10 near Coon Rapids in 1957. In 1958, a woman saw a kangaroo. Also that year, another woman, another woman who was married to Gary Hayter, she told him that her two brothers told her that they saw a big rabbit hopping around. And then in 1967, two oversized bunnies were seen near the Anoka County Fairgrounds. No further reports of hopping creatures in Minnesota, but it is not the only place with these unidentified hopping objects, these UHOs. Well, clearly that is the best name for these cryptids. They have also been called Phantom Kangaroos or errant kangaroos. And yes, they are indeed a cryptid according to the author George M. Eberhardt's categorization of cryptids. He had like 10 categories, and this one fell under distribution anomalies, so that were not a zoological mystery. So a known animal that was seen
in an odd location
is by his categorization a cryptid.
Okay.
So like I said, he had 10 categories, and we don't have time for all of them, but a few I think we would all find interesting. So another one was undescribed, unusual, or outsized variations of known species. Mm-hmm. And this could include common animals with notable deformities or attributes, or often those that suffered from a form of gigantism, like giant snakes in the Amazon.
Okay.
All right. So another one, survivals of recently extinct species, like the Tasmanian tiger that everyone thought was extinct. And then like 40 years later, they're like, oh, I just saw a Tasmanian tiger, right?
Yes.
Another one is animals not known from the fossil record nor related to any known species. So that's completely an unknown. And according to Eberhardt, Sasquatch belongs in this category. And so he said, despite the fact that some researchers think that Bigfoot is a surviving Gigantopithecus, we know this huge Pleistocene ape only from a few jaw fragments and isolated teeth, and have no idea what it looked like back then, right? So
I think they're making a new emoji of
Sasquatch. Yeah, there was a Sasquatch outside my Airbnb. I saw him hanging out there. It's pretty cool. I also met a paleoanthropologist, which I didn't know was a thing, and that was really cool. So, all right, other categories. Mythical animals with a zoological basis. So that would be something like a mermaid.
Okay.
Another one, seemingly paranormal or supernatural entities with some animal-like characteristics. So that would be like Mothman, Jersey Devil, or phantom dogs. And so I would argue that you could put phantom kangaroos here too, but other one would be like known hoaxes or probable misidentifications. Okay. So where else are these phantom kangaroos? You could argue that they're here in my town, because Bernie does have kangaroos that have hopped through here a number of times, because we have rich people who have too much money and adopt animals they probably shouldn't have, and they've gotten loose. Really? So, going further in time, though, 1899 in New Richmond, Wisconsin, a woman saw a roo run through her neighbor's yard, and there was a circus in town, but that circus had no kangaroo, which I think is a suspicious thing to say. I could just say, what?
The circus had no kangaroo.
No, I don't have a kangaroo. I don't know what you're talking about. What? You escaped? What did it do? Bye. And then... In 1900, Mays Landing, New Jersey, a family heard screams coming from their barn. This thing that looked like a kangaroo, it wasn't such a great big animal. It was about the size of a small calf and weighed about 150 pounds. But the noise is what scared us. It sounded like a woman screaming in an awful lot of agony. And then they found tracks that were 8 to 10 feet apart leading to their swamp. I also like that they had a swamp.
Swamp kangaroos?
Yeah, maybe a swamp kangaroo. In 1934, rural Tennessee, several witnesses claimed dogs, geese, and ducks were attacked by a kangaroo-like beast that ran as fast as lightning. It was seen fleeing later, carrying sheep, which leads me to say, if it was a kangaroo, was it in its tiny kangaroo paws? How was a kangaroo carrying the sheep? Was it multiple sheep? Was it in the pouch? How was it running away with the sheep? Why was this not in pictures? All right. Grove City, Ohio, 1949, seeing the lights crossing the road in front of the bus, was a beast about 5.5 feet tall, hairy and brownish in color. It has a long pointed head. It leapt a barbed wire fence and disappeared. The bus driver said it resembled a kangaroo, but it appeared to jump on all fours. I'm certain it wasn't a deer. In 1958, kangaroos were reported in the vicinity of Nebraskan towns. A witness, brewery owner Charles Wetzel, gave one of his beers the name Wetzel Kangaroo Beer. They appeared in Illinois, Wisconsin, Colorado, Delaware, California, Utah, Oklahoma, North Carolina, and Ontario and New Brunswick through the 70s and 80s. This is a good one. In October 1974, Chicago cops showed up to a call about a kangaroo on a man's porch. They cornered it in an alley. One of them tried to cuff it, and this reminds me of Sam. And so one of them tried to cuff it, and then it started to scream and got vicious. And then it ran, and then it kicked the officer in the shin a few times, and then it ran away. And then sightings of it were repeated. It were reported in Plano, Illinois, which is 50 miles west of Chicago. 2 groups there reported seeing it. Then it was in Lansing, Illinois. Then in Rensselaer and Carmel, Indiana. Then on November 15th, it was seen back in Chicago on a vacant lot. Then it was seen in Sheridan, Indiana on November 25th when a farmer, Don Johnson, saw a kangaroo running at all 4 feet. It hopped a barbed wire fence, and then it was never to be seen again.
Do we have like a weird ass, like secret, like very like secretive, like herds of kangaroos that now use all fours all over the U.S.?
They're Phantom Kangaroos. This is the point. In 1978, they were in Wisconsin. Kangaroos were sighted, photographed, and maybe even had their prints made. The investigator, Mark Hall, had plaster tracks. They're about 6 inches long and 3 inches wide. He said they have a 2-pronged fork appearance with 2 knobs at the rear of the fork handle. The photograph showed a fuzzy slumping figure, which could be a kangaroo. The better of the photos had a tan animal with lighter brown front limbs, hints of a lighter brown hind limb, dark brown or black patches around the eyes, inside the 2 upright ears, and possibly surrounding the nose and upper mouth area. The animal compares favorably with Bennett's wallaby or the brush kangaroo, a native of Tasmania. In 1980, reports came in that kangaroos were haunting Golden Gate Park. I think that was probably acid. In 1981, a kangaroo was said to be hit and killed, but neither the kangaroo nor the driver could be found to be investigated, which to me sounds like nobody hit a kangaroo. Between 2002 and 2010, dozens of people in Japan reported them near a mountain. And then this one's kangaroo-ish. In the UK, wallabies escaped from a private zoo in Staffordshire in the 1930s and established colonies throughout the UK, peaking in the 1970s with numbers in the 60s and the 70s. While they are thought to have died out, numerous sightings have occurred even through the 2020s, inspiring such headlines as, "Would Rue believe it? Wallaby spotted in Wales."
I've wanted a wallaby for so long. It's not even funny. I blame Nickelodeon for Rocko's Modern Life.
Yeah. So that is the tale of I will say the UHOs. I think UHOs.
UHOs. I love it. UHOs.
All right. From those UHOs back to this one, to the gym.
Back to the gym, where our high school coach is helping the quarterback work on his bench press. So he's and informs this kid to lay off the HGH in case he has
not because it's bad for you,
but in case he has to pee in a cup. So kid puts in his headphones to keep lifting and is listening to Hell to Pay by Five Finger Death Punch, and which is Liz's new favorite band.
Mm-hmm. I want to date that guy. So go on.
And Coach goes to his office to do some work. The kid lifting weights sees his breath turn cold, and we see a very, very, very creepy jester enter the room with
and they pick up a kettlebell, and they don't even start doing swings. Like they just ignore the teen and go to the coach. He was all, "What the fuck is happening?" And
starts whacking him in the head with a fucking kettlebell, which is awful.
And that's really good arm strength. It's so hard to swing a kettlebell like that.
Yeah, jeez. So we are cut immediately to a crime scene because obviously the coach's office is now one. And there's blood everywhere. And Donna shares that the coach is alive. He's just in a coma. Okay. So Doug is wondering about these 2 masked attacks in 2 days. And Sam and Dean and Donna are like, oh, must
look
be
over there.
Social media, copycat. It's okay. Go away, Doug. Bye. So Sam and Dean are going to go talk to Brock, the young man who was
Brock Buckner. And that name sounds like a porn name.
It kind of does. And he was hammering his buys, getting all swole.
Yep.
And now I hate him.
I hated him, but I didn't have to get this far to hate this child. So, and he does not know who the mascot is because he is the cornerback.
Okay.
And he also has to drop in that he holds the state bench press record.
Yeah.
Kind of sad as a coach that got hit with a kettlebell. Anyway, so he answers some weird questions that Sam asks, and doesn't bat an eye at the questions, and is just like, "Oh yeah, I got cold."
It got cold, and the mask wouldn't come off. Not weird at all. Not weird at all. So, but at the jail, Sam and Dean and Donna are trying to check out this jester.
Because Dean has finally pulled out the EMF reader,
right? Because they didn't think to do this on the goddamn bunny dude. Anyways, and so it's clearly a ghost possession situation. So
maybe that's why I'm so pissed that he died. Because I'm just like,
so.
Y'all could have this was a ghost possession. Like, why did a ghost possession have to die? Like, I mean, the demon things are that's even one thing. But kind of going back to the ethics of protecting somebody who's a human being is. Even when they're talking about the ethics of the ghost itself, right? Like, what ethics do we have to protect the human soul that was a ghost? But now I'm just talking about the ethics of the thing that's inside the fucking bunny costume. Like, did you not have more of a responsibility to test this thing further than just doing holy water?
I think there's a very valid case that the Sam and Dean had a higher obligation to do their diligence.
That's they didn't do a silver. I mean, they know it's not a shapeshifter, so they didn't do a. But I mean, I were Sam and Dean. Like, I would. Once again, this goes to the organization that they lack, and we'll see clearly later when they don't have the ghost bag. But yeah, there should be just the bag of this is my testing bag, and this has my holy water, this has my iron, this has my silver. Then we just go through it.
Yeah, they should have done something, but they did nothing until now. And so Sam's Ghost 101, he informs Donna that ghosts can attach to objects. So now we're going to use salt or iron to get rid of it. Ta-da! And she's like, oh, I carry salt. And she has the weirdest diet thing that she's doing. Not to knock weird, but it was weird.
No, but she also has, so again, she's got her fanny pack prepared. Yeah. And, at least she's got her shit together. And so what her salt thing that she's doing is, she's basically telling herself she's ruining her dessert. She'll eat it.
Yeah, she'll take one bite and then she dumps a bunch of salt on the rest of it so she can't eat the rest.
Just eat the fucking dessert. But it doesn't work in salted caramel because that takes it better. Okay, so then Dean whips out a shotgun from his duffel bag. Again, you should have a ghost bag. And he shoots the mascot. And I know this is only a salt pellet, but that's a sawed-off shotgun. And even if that was a 20 gauge, and I think that looks like a 12, this is a close range to be right in front of a person shooting them with fucking salt.
that's gonna hurt like a motherfucker. Ain't gonna kill him, but it's gonna hurt.
Possibly, you could possibly kill somebody depending on where that hit and how. Like that's a lot of velocity, like a big ass salt thing. Like
it's just a zero care for this poor person that's possessed. Once again,
like your victim planning is just not on par.
Not good. So we see a ghost fly out the window, and this poor person's body falls on the floor, and it's a young chick,
and it's Lindsay Lohan.
That's not Lindsay Lohan. But it's a young girl, and she's like, what's going on? And Donna's like, well, shit, she's innocent too. Okay. And so they suggest to Donna, why don't you make up a story about a drifter being the assailant here and just get this chick out of here. Get her out, let her go, it's fine. And Donna's not stoked on it, but she's going to do it because she doesn't want this young innocent girl to get fucked for nothing. So, she's like, yeah, I just picked up the new mascot costume. I was trying it on. And then I woke up in jail. That sucks. But she's had the coach for PE before. He's a hard ass, but she's never had anything against him, really.
I want to hit him with a kettlebell because I have a hard ass, right? And she got the costume, though, because someone donated it to the school.
Of course. So Sam and Dean and Donna are going to go visit Rita Johnson because she's the one that donated the costumes. Her young son, Max, is there as well at the house. And so Donna's like, I'll show you the cop car, Max, while Sam and Dean talk to your mom.
Yeah, so they're going to distract the kid to get him out of there.
And Rita tells Sam and Dean that those costumes belong to her brother. He was a kids' party performer, but is now dead. Chester, and his name is Chester. She shows a very, 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 very creepy clown photo of him. But apparently he was depressed and committed suicide. And Max really wanted to save the costumes, but they made her sad. So she donated them to a school, theater, and thrift shop.
Yep. And he was cremated. So Sam asked her to make a list of all the costumes, and then he asked about Chester's relationship to the victims or if he had any unfinished business. And she's like, I don't think Chester even knew those guys.
Yeah. So Sam, Dean, and Donna are talking, and she remembers the suicide. And Sam's like, well, we need to get all the costumes because since Chester was cremated, it's the costumes must be it. So Donna and Doug are going on a costume collection mission. The scavenger hunt, if you will. Well, Dean's like, all right, we need to figure out the connection between Chester and his victims. So he's going to work on that.
He also, in the lowdown of these are the things go for, he explains to Donna that they're coming back for something personal like revenge. So Donna really has gotten her Ghost 101 during this whole thing.
Yeah. So Sam's going to the hospital to check on the coach. Dean needs to go figure out this connection, and Donna's on costume hunt. So we've got our divide and conquer, which is kind of good. Even though splitting up's not always good. This time it seems okay. So we see Chester's creepy ass clown costume at the hospital in the coach's room with balloons.
Who let that clown in?
With just strolling around with balloons and a scalpel. No big deal.
What the fuck, security? Hell no.
Where are those hard ass nurses at the nursing station? If I see
that clown in a hospital, I'm tackling it. I'm sorry.
Right? Yeah, fuck that noise. And he slits the comatose coach's throat.
Yeah, while circus music plays. And blood goes all over the equipment.
Yeah.
Then they go into a really cool shot where you see the clown from the reverse mirror.
Yes, and he goes to the elevator. And as the door opens, who's inside but Sam? So Sam is just a minute
Sam
too late,
and his clownophobia, which I can't remember the real word for it right now. But so Sam and his clown fear.
Mm-hmm. And so now they are in the elevator together, and Sam knows he's too late to save Coach, number one, and number two, he's stuck in the elevator with the clown that just killed Coach. So they fight and are able to knock the scalpel out of his hand. Sam is getting choked, but is able to press his piece of iron to the clown's throat to get that ghost the fuck out. And as he pulls off the mask,
Scooby-Doo unveils him.
Scooby-Doo unveils, and it's a confused old man.
Like Scooby-Doo. Yes. It was very much an old man getting caught by the meddling kids. But yeah. Old man has no idea what the fuck is going on.
No. So Donna has to investigate Coach's death. Sam's there with the fucking clown mask and was like, yeah, old dude was playing dress up with his grandson. Why would you wear that goddamn clown costume in front of your grandson?
You hate your grandson? You want your grandson to grow up to be a psychopath? Also, they said Bozo, and I learned this week that the new Bozo was David Arquette.
New Bozo?
New Bozo the Clown is being played by David Arquette.
Really? I loved Bozo the Clown.
Yeah, I learned that. I don't know. Anyways, all right. So Donna asks Sam if he escaped too, and Sam says, "Yeah." And Donna's like, "I'm so losing my job."
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and Doug's just really confused now because now there's 3, and they're like, "Oh yeah, no, it's another copycat. It's fucking terrible. Another copycat, Doug. No biggie." I mean, no biggie, it's another murder, so that's bad, but yeah.
Yeah, but Doug was on his way to get a woodpecker costume at Woodbury. I just wanted to say woodpecker costume at Woodbury.
And as Doug leaves, Sam kind of tells Donna to maybe, like, give Doug a break. It's not really, don't treat the new Doug like the old Doug.
Yeah, and like, what the hell? And then she's like, mind your beeswax.
That's what she says. Yeah. So we have the widow from our opening scene sharing that her husband and Coach were longtime friends, and they both did know Chester, but she has nothing nice to say about Chester. So Dean leaves her house. He's talking to Sam and learning what happened with the goddamn killer clown. And basically he's sharing that both victims, so Coach and our dickhead husband, accused Chester of, quote, crossing a line with their kids. There's not any detail shared, and there's not any detail in this episode about it, and we don't even see their kids, I don't think, in this entire episode.
Nope. But they have made Chester the molester. I cannot believe the writers did that.
Yeah, but anyways,
it's really y'all did that. Y'all went with Chester the molester. Okay. Anyways, so we find then the story gets like really like not like it wasn't gross and bad before, but now we find out that these dudes didn't go to the cops and do a case. Instead, they went to his house, and Rita says that she was there and told them to wait, and then Rita was there and told them to fuck off, and that Chester killed himself, or did he?
So that's the big question. So Dean's going to go back to see Rita, and Max answers the door and lets him in, but while he waits for Mom to get there.
Yeah. Rita, don't let cops inside your house, Max. And especially like when there's some strange man shows up at your door, you don't let them in the house.
Well, I mean, he's doing card tricks.
I know. Also, don't talk to cops. Shouldn't be talking to minors without their fucking parents being there.
They're not supposed to talk to minors without their parents being there. That is accurate. And so he's saying that Max tells Dean that what those men said is not true. So he is aware of the accusation. Rita is pissed when she comes in and Sam's with her that Dean is talking to Max without her there. To be fair, Dean didn't ask Max any questions.
But she doesn't know that, right?
I know.
And she feels like her son's rights are being violated, and she has a right to be pissed. And she wants to know like why they're there, and then she sends Max out.
Yeah, and Sam's like, by the way, you lied, that Chester definitely did know Stan and Coach, and they confronted you, and what the fuck? And she's like, well, they, that has nothing to do with any of this.
Well, at first she's like, that's none of your business. And I'm like, well, I mean, can you? Maybe.
Yeah, they're both dead. So hold on. Maybe it does. Maybe. And then Sam's like, we need to know what happened here. And so Dean's
we're going to stare the truth out of you.
Yeah. And Dean asked straight up, are you sure that he killed himself? Ooh. There. So she's like, okay, fine. Here's what happened. They came to the house, told me that Chester did something inappropriate with their kids. I was defensive. I didn't believe it. I he's like a dad. He was like a dad to Max. I told them to go to the cops if that's what they thought, which I feel like is probably a reasonable suggestion from her. But anyway, apparently they had no evidence, but because it was in her head, then Rita started to have doubts and it got under her skin because her brother was a little weird and he just really only got on with kids and like maybe he did do something and
his name was Chester.
And she had spent her whole life sticking up for her weird brother. What if she couldn't see past that? And she was concerned about Max then. So instead of going to her brother, she called Stan and he said they would take care of it. This just seems like a lot of bad decisions by a lot of people here.
Yep. And they're like, no, we're not going to hurt him. We're just going to scare him. And then how they scare him is they go and grab him and they jangle him off
when he's wearing the coolest deer mascot costume. I really like that. The head was so cool, I thought.
It's terrifying. So they take the terrifying deer and without a head on, and they dangle him off a bridge, and he denies everything. But they are assholes, and they cannot hold on to him, and he fell.
Yeah, he wiggles because he's struggling against the people that are dangling him off a bridge and accusing him of something that he proclaims to be innocent of. And they drop him. So
and so she gets basically told that Sam tells her that they're going to go to jail if she went to the cops, and she couldn't do that to Max. Then she says one of these things that is, are we talking about you or are we talking about Sam and Dean? So she says, fear cripples you. It makes you do nothing. Of course, it makes you or worse, it makes you do something you'll regret. I should have trusted my brother.
Yep.
Underline, I should have trusted my brother. Okay.
Yeah.
So that's what she says blatantly out loud and somehow still maybe not going into someone's head.
No, of course not. Of course not.
So the phone rings and it's Donna.
It's Donna. And she's like, I've got all the costumes. They're like, what about that deer head? She's like, what fucking deer head? There was no deer head on the list. I go get the deer head. But she can't because Max has the deer head and he comes down the stairs right then.
Yep, and he is prancing his way through the house because he's a deer. And he starts...
Is he prancing?
He's prancing. And he prances his way after Rita.
So, yeah, because he's going to go kill Rita, which is real dark now, too, because it's a kid trying to... Anyway, a possessed kid.
Yeah, and Sam somehow has lost the ability to fling the iron at the child.
I don't know. So... Dean has the iron. We get the ghost knocked out for a second, and Max is super fucking confused. So Sam takes the deer head outside. He's going to go burn it. We get a nice view of Trunk briefly.
And then Dean goes into the kitchen for salt because clearly not fucking prepared.
Not prepared at all.
You have a ghost. What, you couldn't you didn't re-up on the salt after Donna saved your ass with it out of her fanny pack?
I know. So Chester, the ghost, is back. Chester, the ghost, is there. Ghosty Chester, not possessing any person or objects now. And he throws Dean, and Max is asking him not to, and he pauses for a second, and that's really sad. But he grabs Dean and starts choking him anyways. Right around then, we've got Sam is finally able to start burning this fucking mask, and just in time to get Dean released before he gets choked out.
Yep, and the ghost burns up. So, again, now this ghost is...
How traumatic is this for fucking Max, by the way? So they're like, first off, he's like, oh, your uncle killed himself because he was depressed. Oh, by the way, he's been accused of being a molester. Oh, no, he didn't actually commit suicide. He was accidentally killed by two people that accused him of being a molester. And then, oh, by the way, then his ghost came back and murdered them and then possessed you and tried to make you murder your mom.
And then until we burned up him so he doesn't exist anymore.
Yeah, so his soul's gone too. Sorry. I don't know. What kind of therapist do you hire for that?
You gotta go to Lily Dale. So Ghost is burned up. Then we go to the next where Donna and Doug have arrived at the scene.
Donna's like, I hope that next time you come back from Minnesota, it's for something with less murders.
Like Prince or Cheese Curd Fest, which I would definitely go to Cheese Curd Fest, and so would Dean. And then she is like, hey, your life must be just one big poop storm.
Pretty much. But they refer to her as a hunter since this is her third case, and she is stoked.
She's very happy, and she doles out the hugs.
She does. And she thanks Doug for his work and apologizes to him. Oh, go Donna.
And Doug shows like he's a smart dude. Like we're like, oh, I like you, Doug.
And he's like, it's okay, we all have baggage. It's like, oh, okay.
And like, I'm aware you were treating me like a punching bag. I'm not stupid.
So Sam and Dean are driving, and Sam has things to share. He was saying that he keeps praying to God as if if God is sharing something with me and I don't know what to do with it. I have to, that's why I keep praying. But what I keep seeing, the vision I keep having that I'm curious about is of Lucifer's cage. Is that where answers are? Do I have to go back?
Yeah, and Dean's just like, the fuck you, Will. I don't care. These messages are from God or PBS, but anything going down that road with the cage is just bad news. Nope. No cage for you, Sam.
No cage.
No cage. No Luke Cage, no Nick Cage, no cage.
That's our episode.
Well, okay. Well, but then also Sam says, okay. But in that way where he's lying, because he didn't learn anything from anything that was said earlier in the episode where somebody was trying to give him but no, he didn't learn anything. So, yep, that's where we are. And so let's talk about some people in deer heads or whatever they were wearing.
Casting couch. It's the casting couch. Were they on that show that time with that guy? La 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 la.
Yeah, so Rita Johnson was played by Bridget Branagh, and she's been in episodes of Doogie Howser, MD, ER, Touched by an Angel, Ally McBeal, Dharma and Greg, Charmed, Angel, 4 times, CSI, Just Shoot Me, 24, 911 Lone Star, Drop Dead Diva, Grimm, Grey's Anatomy, been a bunch of stuff. She also specifically was Pamela and Elsie in Army Wives, which was a regular character for like over 80 episodes, and was Stacy in Runaways, which is about over 30 episodes.
Mm-hmm.
Officer Doug Stover was played by Brendan Taylor. Interestingly, a lot of him, I'd probably say about just over half of his credits are actually in the art department as a set dresser. So that's what most of his work is.
I really like him.
Yeah. So as far as his acting, where you would have seen him, not to take away from his other work, but where we wouldn't recognize him,
maybe his mustache.
Yes. He's been in episodes of Witches of East End, Arrow, Fargo, Bates Motel, iZombie, Magicians, and Creep Show. He was Lewis in Alien Ore. O-R-E. He was the electronic Santa in Noelle. And he's done a bunch of other Hallmark movies, not just Christmas, but Hallmark movies in general. Max Johnson, our young man, was played by Logan Williams. He doesn't have a ton of credits. I say that it looks like he was a young actor. Sometimes they don't continue in that world.
Sometimes they say, fuck this!
So he was young Barry in The Flash for several episodes of that, and was Miles in When Calls the Heart for a dozen episodes or so. Chester Johnson, our ghost bad guy, was played by Adrian Glenn McMorran. He's in a couple episodes of Supernatural, but he was Carl in Men in Trees. Michael in Arrow for a few episodes. He was the American soldier in the movie The Revenant, and an officer in the movie Warcraft. He's also been in episodes of Smallville, Charmed, and Superman and Lois. Oh my God! One other note of cast was Kylie was played by Megan Pita Hill.
Not Lindsay Lohan?
Not Lindsay Lohan, sorry. She's been in episodes of X-Files, Magicians, iZombie, Nancy Drew, Big Sky, Riverdale, The Flash, and Kung Fu. So that's why you probably she looks familiar.
Okay.
It was really hard to say Riverdale just then because I really want to say Lilydale now. Yeah. So I guess we and I briefly talked about this episode before we started recording, and I said I didn't like it.
Now that you kind of realize that there was some it's because it's a Donna episode. You can't hate a Donna episode.
I know. I just find it distressing. Like, I don't like.
No, they're creepy as fuck.
Well, it's creepy, but like I can get over the creepy. Like sometimes that's kind of camp and fun. I think my problem is more like the implication that this guy may have been falsely accused, leading to his death, or he was a molester. And they're both bad, and I don't like either one of those. And I'm not happy with either one of those. He's either molesty or he was falsely accused of molesty and died because of it. And those are both fucked.
And either way, his end sucks. I mean,
yeah.
Like there is no chance for a redemption. No matter what you're saying, like there's nothing left. You just
that's what bothered me about the episode. And I know that that's probably intentional. It's part of the story, blah, blah, whatever. But that bothered me.
Yeah.
That didn't sit with me well. That's why I didn't like. That's what I disliked about it. And no matter what about the fun and the Donna and the fun masks, I'm not gonna lie, I kind of liked them. All of that. I even though they were creepy, I kind of liked it, but like all of that was just like kind of just like all underscored by with the ick because of that part.
Yeah, well, I mean, anytime you bring child sexual abuse into it, I'm trigger on that, but I mean, it's even if you're just hinting at it, right, is going to make everything extra disgusting and gross. Or
or even like, whether it's real or false accusation, both are fucking awful things to deal with. And it's like, you're not clear, and I don't like that.
Yeah, well, and then it also makes you,
there's
also some moral judgments and icky feelings, and it's just like, none of it makes you feel satisfied. I
know. It leaves you, there's like there's an unresolved ick. And that's what I didn't like. But you did get some Donna. She had a nice time with Doug. She gets to be called a hunter. So gold star Donna. Mm-hmm. That's what I'll leave it with.
Sam and Dean have learned nothing.
Nothing. At all.
And they've learned nothing about the darkness.
They have not learned about the darkness.
Or their new album.
I think I sent you the link to one of the Darkness's songs. The Ghost with the Big Tits.
Yeah. Oh, I forgot when we did our darkness quiz, was that last week?
Yeah.
I forgot one to put in there. He was Justin Hawkins was on the Masked Singer on the UK one. And I was going to ask you about what his thing was. I think he was a B. Yeah, he was on the UK Masked Singer.
Interesting.
Yep. All right. So on that note, yeah, I mean, we're still also kind of like episode 7, so we're not even halfway through, so we'll keep on trucking through this and hopefully maybe something less icky next time. We'll see.
Yes, please.
All right. Cheers, jerk.
Cheers, bitch.
Devil's Trap Podcast is a Don't Get It production. Meow.
Devil's Trap Podcast is part of the Ship It Studios podcast network. Thanks for listening to this week's episode of Devil's Trap Podcast. You can follow us on Instagram at Devil's Trap Podcast, Twitter at Devil's Trap Pod, or you can email us at devilstrap@devilstrappodcast.com. Don't forget to subscribe, leave reviews, and share with all your friends. We're at all your favorite podcast outlets and at devilstrappodcast.com. I'm Babe. Thanks for tuning in, and we'll see you next time.